During the pandemic, small business owners were fighting for their survival. But we were also fighting for our relevance. We were saying, use us to help because we have worth. Communities rely on small businesses, but we were being told that we were non-essential and unimportant. Getting support from elected officials was hard. I had to break down a lot of doors, pressure people to help, but not Kimberly Overman. Some would say it's because Kimberly Overman had once been a small business owner herself, but I would say it's also because Kimberly Overman is a real person who's experienced a lot of hardship in her journey. And because she's been through so much, she understands, and when crisis hits, she is not going to freeze, no. Instead, she'll help any way she can. So not only did she take my calls every time, but she would call me as well to check on me, to see if I needed anything, but also at times to ask my opinion about things or to thank me for my own leadership. When there was no end in sight and you're getting doors slammed in your face and being told you don't matter, Kimberly Overman and the way she interacted with me was essential to giving me the strength to continue and go on. We need elected officials who care about the well-being of all people. We need truth and honesty. We can celebrate our victories, but we also need to be able to confront our failures, talk about what needs to be done better, and what we can fix. And that's why it's essential that Kimberly Overman gets reelected. Everybody, please, a round of applause for Kimberly Overman.
Wow. You can introduce me anytime, Tom. Well, I will tell you, yes, Tom and I had many late night conversations about how challenging it was based on what we were dealing with, which is a lot, but not knowing really what to do with it. But he is correct. One of the things I understood is that small business owners needed help. One of the things I understood was that it meant the jobs and the employees that they cared the most about were at risk. And we needed to do as much as we possibly could. We did that by putting into place and participating with the wonderful Safe and Sound program for helping people to get back to work, which is what we really needed to be able to do. And I am so proud of having an opportunity to be part of that. You know, Hillsborough County is a big county. I had no idea how big it was when I ran at 18. And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate your support back then and how much I need your support now. It's not gotten any smaller. The landscape is the same. It's still 1,000 square miles. But we've had over 100,000 people move here in the last couple of years. So it's put additional pressures on what we need to be successful at doing. And I have a great team on the Board of County Commission right now to work with, and we need to make sure that we can continue the great work that Hillsborough County is doing for the residents and the businesses of Hillsborough County. One of the things we do know is that every business has families. They have places to go, they have the needs to be able to educate their kids, they have their parents that they need to make sure are safe, they want to live in safe communities, and they want to be able to afford to live here. And we are working really hard to address our affordable housing crisis. We actually got an ordinance passed last week to actually extend the notice that a landlord has to give a tenant or a tenant has to give a landlord to 60 days in order to be able to give people time to find somewhere else to be when it becomes unaffordable or unable to work where their budget for what it takes. But what's also important is that we need to also build strong, connected communities. We need to invest in our infrastructure, and we haven't done that. But what this board has done, what I've done with my colleagues, is raise the fiscal responsibility when it comes to our budgets. We recognize that we were not paying for things. And while residents of businesses in Hillsborough County deserve better, lying to them about what it takes to make that happen was not working. This board has the ethic to make sure that we tell you the truth. We help you understand what it takes, and now we need your help in November to to make sure that we have the revenues to invest in local transportation that everyone here wants. And we found that out when it got passed in 18. We're trying to protect those dollars and bring them back to Hillsborough County now. But we have 30 years worth of investments that we've got planned in order to make this place even better than it already is. And that's what we want to do. One of the reasons why Hillsborough County is on fire is because we've done a great job of supporting businesses. Now, it doesn't hurt having great teams, but that actually does play in a very important part of our economy when we recognize that tourism is still a very strong piece of our economy. But we also have our farmers who need and that need to be supported as well. We need to have strong communities and stop the sprawl, and we are doing that. And we're doing it responsibly. So what we want to do is make sure we can continue that path. Pandemic got in the way for about 2 years of us being able to move a lot of things forward. And many of the things that we got started in 2020 are now coming back to our board agenda. It's going to take a while to get a little of that, more of that done, but it's going to take longer than November. So I need to be able to come back and continue the great work we've been doing, and I can do it with your help. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for making sure that I have an opportunity to continue to serve this county by not only supporting the campaign and coming to events like this, but making sure you tell your family and friends why it's critically important. Because the commission actually does the most for your lives on a daily basis, because we're the closest to you when it comes to government. So I want to say thank you. Continue to go to KimberlyOverman.com to support the campaign. I have the primary next week is going to decide who I'm going to be running against. And I've been following these fellows, and they have absolutely no idea how government works. Absolutely zero. I keep trying to give them a little bit of credit, but to see if they know something. But unfortunately, they're really struggling with actually understanding how government works. We need the experience that's on our board now. I want to see Mariella Smith successful. I want to see Kimberly Overman successful. We need to allow Pat Kemp, who's here, to be successful. And we need a woman-led board that's making common sense decisions. It is critically important that this year, we get the vote out in a robust way. As a woman that is raising a 7-year-old, my grandson, I truly understand how hard it is for families. But I also have a granddaughter who's 5. And she has less rights today than I did when I was a teenager. And that's not okay. That's not okay at all. People ought to be able to have their private decisions with their doctors. And while that isn't a local decision that we can do much about, you getting out and voting and asking every woman that you know to get out and go to the ballot box is critically important to make sure we protect the rights of not only women, but LGBTQ, all of the communities that are discriminated against. We have to make sure we protect the rights of our citizens that live here in Hillsborough County. And we currently have a board that will support that. So we want to make sure we're all sticking around. So make sure not only do you get everybody to vote in August at the primary, because we have a critical issue associated with having the resources to educate our children, but in November, it's critically important that we not only keep the board intact by making sure that I'm still on that board in November, but also to make sure that we have the resources to invest in our future. Because the people will not stop coming until we can't build anymore and we can't allow them to be here. And many people will suffer if we can't do that. So please vote KimberlyOverman.com and go there, support it, volunteer. We will have up on the website, we'll have a place where you can choose to volunteer, and you can do that in a lot of ways. Knock on doors, make phone calls, hell, put a sign in your yard. We haven't printed new signs, but we'll have more soon. Work with the coordinated campaign to get the vote out, and make sure that everyone recognizes that this is critically important to your success. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for your support. I want to say thank you for making sure that you realize that common sense leadership and leadership matters in Hillsborough County. Thank you so much. And with that, I'm going to, next up, that's where I'm going. And with that, I want to give a huge thank you and support and introduce our next band, Moon Bay.
Hey everyone, thank you. We are Moon Bay.
We're heading out. All right, cool. You want to get the door? Yeah, thank you. Sure.